That stormy Friday night, when the most dangerous man in America pointed a gun at my heart and whispered, "You belong to me now," I discovered that sometimes the devil has the most beautiful face, and that my life would never be the same again. My name is Isabella. I'm 22 years old, and until 3 months ago, I was just another waitress fighting to survive in New York City. Pre-law student by day, serving cocktails at night at Manhattan's most exclusive rooftop club. My father had died, leaving mountains of debt to loan sharks. My mother was in psychiatric care, and I was living in a cramped studio in Queens, counting every dollar. I remember that night perfectly. The smell of expensive whiskey and Cuban cigars mixed with designer cologne, the deafening bass of electronic music, and my cheap heels clicking on marble floors as I served champagne to men who made in one night what I couldn't see in a year. That's when I first saw him. Santino Venturi. They called him Saint, but trust me, he was the opposite of his name. Known for his ruthless brutality, he controlled the entire New York underworld. Hair black as night, eyes that seemed to see straight into your soul, and a smile that promised both pleasure and destruction. I was cleaning a table on the VIP terrace when I heard the screams. My curiosity led me to the balcony, and that's when I saw Saint executing a man who had betrayed his family. One clean shot to the head. No hesitation, no remorse. My body betrayed my mind, and I stumbled, knocking over an entire tray of glasses. The sound echoed through the silent night like a war cry. Saint turned slowly, his eyes met mine, and in that moment, I knew my life was over. "Bring her here," he said in a voice that froze my blood. His soldiers dragged me to him. Saint circled me like a predator studying his prey, then whispered in my ear, "You saw something you shouldn't have seen, Princess. That means you belong to me now." Right there, in front of all his men, he called me his new property, like I was some object he had purchased. But the worst part wasn't the words. It was how my body betrayed my mind every time he came near. For weeks, he kept me prisoner in his penthouse. I had everything I needed: expensive food, designer clothes, a bedroom bigger than my old apartment, but I had no freedom. Saint said he was protecting me, but I knew it was just a matter of time before he got tired of me. But there was something in his eyes, a deep sadness he hid behind his mask of cruelty. Sometimes I caught him watching me with a tenderness that completely contradicted his reputation. The truth began to reveal itself when I found a hidden folder in his safe. Documents showing that Saint had known my father long before his death. Not just known him. They were business partners. My father hadn't died owing money. He had been murdered for trying to leave the criminal world, and Saint had forged a marriage contract to protect me from enemies who wanted to use his daughter for revenge. But there was more. All my mother's hospital bills, paid by Saint, my college tuition, financed by him, my miserable studio apartment. He was the landlord and never charged rent. I confronted him that very night. "Why did you do all this?" I screamed, throwing the documents in his face. Saint was silent for long seconds, then said the phrase that changed everything. "Because your father made me promise to protect you, and because from the first day I saw you, I knew you would be my downfall." In that moment, I understood that behind his monster mask, Saint protected those he loved with an intensity that bordered on obsession. He wasn't just a criminal. He was a man desperately in love, trying to keep alive the only good thing in his dark world. But our enemies discovered our connection. They kidnapped my mother from the psychiatric facility and demanded Saint surrender himself in exchange for her life. That's when I saw the real Saint. Without hesitation, he gathered all the documents that incriminated his rivals and handed them over to the FBI, knowing it would cost his own freedom. "Some battles can only be won by sacrificing everything," he told me as he kissed me one last time. The federal operation was a success. My mother was rescued, Saint's enemies were arrested, and he vanished into the night before being captured. 3 months later, I received an envelope with no return address. Inside, a key and an address in Portugal. In the letter, just one sentence. I'm waiting for you where the sun sets over the ocean, princess. That day, I understood a devastating truth. Sometimes love doesn't save you from the darkness. Sometimes it teaches you that it's worth getting lost in it with the right person. Today, as I write this story from a balcony in Lisbon, watching Saint prepare breakfast with the same hands that have killed men, I know I chose love above everything. Because some hearts can only be conquered by souls who know darkness, and choose light anyway. If this forbidden love story touched your heart and made you question everything you know about passion, if your heart was racing, imagining what it would be like to live such an intense and dangerous love, then smash that like button down below because that shows me you want more stories like this. And listen, if you made it this far, you're addicted to stories that mess with your soul just like I am. So hit that red subscribe button and ring that notification bell because I've got way more explosive stories coming that will make your heart pound. Drop a comment and tell me, would you make the same choice as Isabella? Would you give up everything for dangerous love like this? Or do you think she should have run at the first chance? I want to hear what y'all think. And if you know someone who's obsessed with intense love stories, tag them right here because I know they'll love this story as much as you did. See you in the next video with another story that'll mess with your emotions. And remember, true love doesn't choose sides, it chooses